not guilty. And we would ask that he pass to that
Okay, all right.
June 22nd date, and that bond remain the same.
Let me see what this bond is actually is. My recollection, I do recall that my recollection was that he was ROR'd on, out of the Rocky case, believe the bond where he is. And are you asking the purpose of the public defender to be reappointed in this case for you, Mr. Casey?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll appoint the public defender's office for you. I think we passed it June the 22nd at a rocket docket time. So if you can you find me a different time on June 22nd? Because we'll probably have it June 22nd at 11. It would look like at 10 or even 10:30 that day. Oh, yeah, that is a PD conference week, so let's go, just give me a regular pass date. If you want to go out to that July date, if you're. Okay, July the 6th, 23 at 10:45. Okay, so I will not need to see you, Mr. Casey, on that June date. So come back and see me on July the 6th at 10:45, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thanks a bunch. July 6th.
We get this thing right. Okay. Thanks. Thank you.
23 CR 1106, Commonwealth versus Janae Woolridge. Good morning, ma'am. How you doing? Come on down.
Judge, this is Miss Say's case.
Okay. Point. So.
We acknowledge the identity of Ms. Woolridge, and her pleas is not guilty, and waive the formal reading of the indictment. She was previously represented by Ms. Say from the Public Defender's Office, asked that she be reappointed.
Okay. Well, reappointed.
Bond is ROR.
Okay. Can you verify that? 'Cause I don't see anything in the file. Is that bond showing as ROR, Michelle?
Oh, they might get in the way.
Because what?
Yeah, no,
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and ROR you, Ms. Woolridge. They need to give me a pass date, please.
So let's go that July 6th date at 10 a.m.
July the 6th, 23 at 10 o'clock for pretrial conference date. So I'll see you back then, ma'am, okay? Thank you.
Okay, I'll give this to Nicole.
23 CR 1114, Commonwealth versus Brittany Levon Thompson. All right, good morning. Good morning to you, Mr. Esselman. Judge, excuse me, Mr. Esselman, if we could make sure that she does not bring that child back with her to court next
Make
time.
sure that you know.
Thank you very much.
Judge, this is Ms. Thompson. Acknowledge her identity, will enter plea of not guilty. We'll waive formal reading and we'll reserve all appropriate rights. We'll
Okay,
ask the court to schedule a pretrial date.
okay. All right. You need to give me a pretrial date, please, for Ms. Thompson.
The assessment will July 6th at 10:15 work for you.
No, that's okay. I can make it.
Okay, July the 6th at 10:15 for pretrial conference. All right, and your bond is going to remain as what the district court bond was. You're going to be ROR'd out of this case. So I'll see you back on July the 6th at 10:15, Ms. Thompson. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. Well, this is call. Okay, call. All right, okay. Thank you. 16 CR 3117, Commonwealth versus Jeremy Kennerly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Kennerly?
Yes,
All right.
ma'am.
All right, sir. So Commonwealth has filed a motion to revoke your probation I really do expect people to appear in person on revocation issues, so I will expect
Yes,
to
ma'am.
have you in person on our revocation date, sir. Do you plan
Yes,
on hiring private counsel, or do you need the services of a public defender, Mr. Kennerly?
No, I am gonna hire Steve Esselman, and yes, ma'am, I'm gonna hire Steve Esselman as soon as we get back from Lexington. I'm going to his office to pay him to retain him for this matter and try to get my restitution taken care of before the court
Okay.
date.
All right, so you need to give me a revocation date, please, avoiding Thursdays.
So, let's go July 11th, Tuesday, July 11th at 11:50.
All right, July the 11th, Mr. Kennerly, at 11:15. I will see you in person on July the 11th at 11:15, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. July 11th at 11:15 in
Yes,
person.
sir. Make sure you write that
Yes,
down.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
19 CR 0687, Commonwealth versus Cayman Ramey. All right, let's roll this. This is on a failure to pay restitution. Let's roll this. Okay, we're gonna roll this to June the 26th at 11 a.m. to give them the opportunity to be here. 21 CR 308, Commonwealth versus Jordan McQueen. All right. Probation and Parole has filed a motion to revoke based on the allegations of failing to report and based on the allegation of absconding from probation supervision. Based on Mr. McLean's failure to appear today, court is going to issue a $15,000 bench warrant based upon his absence. 23 CR 116, Commonwealth versus Charles Tomlinson. All right, good morning to you, Mr. Tomlinson. This is a motion that was filed by Mr. Eggert Mitachu. Mr. Ghostman is the prosecutor on this case. This is a motion for release of money. Let's go ahead and set this for a short pass date, please.
Your Honor, I actually have notes from Mr.
Okay.
Goffman. He has no objection.
Okay, all right,
This money was, seized incident to arrest and it's unrelated to this case.
excellent. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and sign the order for you on this, Mr. Tomlinson, so that should be released to you, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Can
All
I
righty.
ask where I go to do it?
What'd you say?
Can I ask where I go to get that money back?
Talk to Mr. Eggert about that.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. Oh, yeah, this is the last criminal that I have. You have anything else? Okay, cool.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
23 CI 1582, Laura versus Fox. Recalling 23 CR 1582, Laura versus Fox. All right, see.
Your Honor, Danny Matlock for plaintiff.
Okay. Counsel, have you heard any objections?
This was not my motion. This was actually opposing counsel's motion, and we weren't going to object.
You're not going to object?
No, we are, Judge.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, since I don't have Mr. Mauer present, what I'm gonna do is just actually, I'm not gonna take it up. I'm not gonna sign it since I don't have anybody present here to argue the motion, okay? So I'm
Thank
gonna
you, Judge.
remand that and he'll have to refile it and appear.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. '23 CI 2738, Thomas versus Revitalist LLC.
Good morning, Your Honor. Nolia Beatty for plaintiffs Megan Thomas and Donna Boyette. I believe my co-counsel Mike Kelly should be there in person.
That is correct, Your Honor. Mike Kelly also appearing for the
Good
plaintiff.
morning.
Your Honor, I'm Mike Bailey for Mr. Dudley. That's my motion, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
Chris Copeland for Captain Walker, and eventually I'll have the other two defendants, but my understanding is they've not been served.
Okay, all right. Is there any objection, or does anybody want to respond to it?
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to respond to their motion to strike, which I think they've set forth. One of the claims in this case is negligent hiring in this case. And when you look at paragraph 24 of the complaint, it explains why the allegations in paragraphs 26, 30, and so forth are relevant to this claim, because of the personal history of one of the plaintiffs made Mr. Dudley a completely inappropriate person to be providing any treatment or care to that plaintiff. And when you look at the allegations of the complaint, they reference to information that was readily available both to the employer and to the general public concerning the conduct of Mr. Dudley, that the complaint should be stricken from the record. It's certainly relevant and pertinent to the claims of negligent hiring.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do, counsel. I'm gonna give you 14 days to respond. We're gonna set this for a short hearing, give you guys an opportunity to argue in front of me orally. I'll give you 14 days to respond. Tanita, give me a pass date about 30 to 45 days out, please.
How does July 26th at 10 a.m. work?
July the 26th at 10 o'clock. Counsel, does that work for you all?
I have a conflict that day.
Okay.
I apologize.
Let's look at a different week.
So how does August 2nd?
Perfect.
We're in Providence, I'll get covered.
Okay, cool. All right.
10 a.m. is that
Yes.
correct? Okay.
August 2nd, 23 at 10 o'clock. Counsel, I'll give you 14 days to respond, and then I'll be prepared to listen to argument on August 2nd at 10 o'clock.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
guys.
guys.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you. 22 CI 4217 Haynes versus Levia Garcia.
Good morning, Your Honor. Brian Stempian here for the defendant. That's my motion.
Good morning. Counsel, who's on the other side of that?
I have not heard objection. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Let me double check here.
Looks like it was sent to Cornelius Kearns for the plaintiff.
Yes, Your Honor. It's Kevin Adams Adams Legal Group.
Okay. Have you heard any response at all from them? Any objection?
I have not, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll go ahead and sign the order since they are not present today and we haven't heard any response. Thanks a bunch. Have a great day.
Thank you, Your Honor. You too.
I'm not necessarily, let me think about it. Let me think about it. '22 CI 4607 Victoria Gardens versus Mills.
Your Honor, Greg Daly, appearing on behalf of Victoria Gardens, and sorry, my video isn't working. We would like to continue this case for a couple weeks if we could. We've received some
You'd
documents.
like to continue it for when, counsel? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
I'm sorry, for a couple of weeks if possible. We have received documents from the defendant,
Okay.
and we just have not gone through them yet.
Okay, so let's roll it to 6:26 at 11 o'clock, motion hour. If you need me, I'll be here. If not, you guys can handle it on your own, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. 22 CI 4886 Neal versus Daly.
Chris Jenkins for the defendant, Mackenzie Daly,
Good morning, counsel. Who's for the plaintiff?
Joseph Pepper.
Joseph, say that last name again.
Pepper, Pepper.
Mr. Pepper, are you here? Have you heard any response at all from him, counsel?
No, Your Honor, I have not. And there's an order that I've prepared that is pretty, this motion's really narrow. It's not overly broad or anything like that.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and sign it based on their failure to appear, and I guess I'll hear from him if I need to hear from him. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate it.
Twenty-two C, I 5463 McMasters versus Jones.
Your Honor, this is Trey Yeager here. I'm on behalf of State Farm.
Okay,
Your Honor, Jared Hoskins on the line for defendant Jones.
good morning.
Good morning.
It's our motion to set
Morning.
this for a trial.
Okay, so I will say the file does look a little thin, what we're asking for at trial. Tell me kind of where we are in terms of why we're feeling like this is trial ready.
It'll probably remain pretty thin. This is a motorcycle wreck with acute injuries.
Okay,
We've exchanged written discovery. There is a bad faith claim in this case as well. There's been a minimal limits offer that should have made a long time ago. It's now been made, but it's going to be rejected. This case has to go to trial to set the value of it.
okay. And counsel, opposing counsel, would you all agree with the posture of the case at this juncture?
Yes, Your Honor, no objection on our end.
Okay, all right,
No.
so.
I would
Was there
say
somebody else?
probably a 2-day trial. I'm fine with anything in December or later January. It's fine.
Okay, counsel, do you have availability in December or January? Because I don't want to start looking not available to 2029.
Your Honor, I'm covering this motion for Renee Hoskins. Her calendar looks pretty full in December. Going into January, it's a little more open.
Okay, Janita, what do we look like in January or February for about a 2 to 3 day trial?
We can actually go Tuesday, January 9th at 9:30.
January the 9th at 9:30.
That'd be fine with me.
Okay, is that good for Ms. Hoskins?
She's actually in trial that week in another matter. Going to, she's available the first week of January, and then starting January 22nd, starting that week, she's wide open.
I mean, we can do January 2nd, that first week there.
I do have another trial that day, so maybe the 23rd or
The 23rd, we have a couple, this is 22.
And we can drop it there, that's fine. I mean,
We have two that day, we might drop it there. They're both 21 days.
fine. January the 23rd?
Yes.
Okay, January the 23rd at 9:30.
And it was 2 days.
Yes. All right, and let's get a pretrial date, Janita. Let's look into November, early November on that.
Tuesday, November 14th at 10 a.m.
it's fine.
November the 14th at 10 o'clock.
That works for us, Your Honor.
That works for State Farm, Your Honor.
Okie dokie, we'll get you guys a trial order out, okay? Thanks a bunch, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
22 CI 5777, David Jameson versus Baptist Healthcare. No, on that. No, on that. 22 CI 577, Jameson versus Baptist Healthcare.
Good morning, Your Honor. Rachel Stratton on behalf of Defendant Baptist Health Medical Group.
Good morning, counsel.
Haley Abbott on behalf of Baptist Health Louisville.
Good morning.
That plaintiff, this is my motion, Your Honor, motion to amend.
Any objection on behalf of the defense?
Objection. No objection.
Okie dokie, I'll get this order signed. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Appreciate you. Twenty CI 3543, Service Financial Co. versus Wilson.
Judge David Dietrich appearing for Service Financial.
Good morning, counsel.
Good morning.
All right, so this is, do I have? This is a pro se motion filed by Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson, are you present? All right, we'll
Good.
remand that since he's not present. Thank you, counsel.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You have a wonderful day,
you.
Judge.
Thank you. 18 CI 2810, Thieneman versus O'Connell.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Counsel Gail, Mr. Thieneman is present.
Good morning, counsel.
So Christy Walker for defendant.
Good morning, counsel. All right, so
It's
It's your
my
motion, I'm sorry.
motion.
This is my motion to compel. We had served discovery back in August of 2021, and we started the deposition of Mr. Thieneman. Since that time, we have not received responses. You may remember we were back here in March. In March, we made our first motion to compel. In response to that, we talked to plaintiff's other counsel, T. Clay, who worked out a deal. They said he would provide responses and we were going to continue the trial date. And you probably recall we showed up on a joint motion and plaintiff objected. And at that time, the court said, if you want to keep the trial date, we'll give you 10 days in order to respond to discovery. And then thereafter, you need to make sure you're available for deposition. Plaintiff was unable to provide responses, did not appear. And for that reason, we obtained a trial date in October. Since that time, as you can see on attachments on our motion, we've made several attempts through phone calls and emails to get the information we need so that we can get this rest of the deposition scheduled. And to date, we've received no response.
Okay, counsel.
There has been a communication problem. Mr. Clay is no longer attorney on the case. There's a great volume of documents, medical records, tax returns, and so forth. If we could have another 2 weeks, I believe we can get it to them in time.
Okay.
The trial isn't until October.
Okay, so here's where we are. I did sign the order back in March. There was no objection by anybody. So the order is standing. I will give you guys 2 weeks. If we are not going to play ball and get this information tendered, we do run the risk because we're butting up about 90 days to the trial. This thing needs to go. So I'm expecting everybody to cooperate so that we can go ahead and get it done. Danita, what would be the date? 2 weeks from today?
It'd be that 26th.
Okay, so everything needs to be tendered by June the 26th. Mr. Thieneman, you've got your hand up. You are represented by counsel, so I will not entertain you at this juncture. June the 26th, 23. Everything should be tendered by then. If there's any issues, please let me know. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't have any more cases on my docket nor any files in front of me. I do still have several people who are in the courtroom. Is there anybody who believes that you do have a case on it all? And your name, because I perhaps may have issued a bench warrant for your arrest if you were not here in a timely fashion.
Rainy, it was rolled, rainy, came in, rainy.
I rolled it because I don't want to have to arrest you for not paying your restitution. So I rolled it 2 weeks. I expect to have you back here on time on June the 26th at 11 o'clock, sir. Uh-huh.
I'll give you a card. Okay.
Thank you. All righty. Yes, sir.
Hi, Your Honor. I paper filed a motion for, to get a shock probation date hearing for my client Gabriel Christor. I had a PC, hearing run a little long, and so I was wondering if maybe that got called before I was able to get here. Or...
It didn't make it to the docket for whatever reason.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't make, so if you may want to refile it, but it didn't, do you know, when did you file it?
Last Wednesday.
Okay, so it should have hit, so I don't know, so it didn't make it to us, so
Okay.
you need to refile it,
All right,
counsel.
thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you. All right, yes, sir.
Wilson? What's your first name? Yeah. Jeremy Wilson?
I don't recall hearing that. Did we call that? It may have been in a different division, so.
Yes. Stay on. Hold on.
Okay, hold on, we're gonna look it up, make sure you're in the right spot.